Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us here for our media availability here at the conclusion of round one of the NHL draft. Obviously joined here by Kings GM Rob Blake. We'd ask at this time to all the media to use the Q&A feature. If you can type out a few questions, I will then read them. And also just a quick note that we're recording this for use on the Kings website and some of our other channels. So Rob, we kind of wait the first few questions to come in here from the joining media tonight. Obviously a little different than the norm for you and the crew. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about maybe the challenges, if that's the right word?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure there was many. It ran real smooth the first round. I think a lot of the calls that you generally get when you walk the floor at a draft took place the last couple of days. So there may have been more phone calls and that kind of interaction. But I thought the job with the scouts, with Mark and Eddie coming in, and just the in-depth meeting prior, without any interruptions, really ran smooth out of here.
And just kind of, seeing what the other 30 teams did tonight, anything kind of just jump out at you, or is it kind of what you expected?
No, I think it, kind of unrolled the same way that I thought it would. A lot of interaction via text and things like that you probably don't get as much when you're, like I said, on the floor at the draft.
Okay, we have our first set of questions that I will read. Rob, in picking Byfield, can you just talk a little bit about the size factor, maybe in comparison to the player who was chosen third overall?
Yeah, we looked, obviously size comes into play. We spoke with Quentin last week, and I think he was measured at 6'4.5" before. Now he's pushing 6'5", so he's already growing that much probably in the last 4 or 5 months. But the big centerman, the effects that he would have on a game, all those things come into play. It was a good, healthy debate amongst the staff for numerous months, preparing and looking over things, and then you kind of take a break for a month and you come back and you redo it again. So, but we're excited about our pick.
All the advance reports, had the Kings deciding between two players with the kind of a foregone conclusion in terms of who was going to the Rangers. Is that fair to say here and now that the pick has been announced?
Yeah, I would say the last couple months, particularly right when we knew we were picking, that list got narrowed down to just a few players, and particularly down to the last two.
Projecting Quentin for as early as next season, what would be your initial reactions to that question?
Well, I mean, physically, I think he has the ability to step in and play in the NHL with his size and his skating ability. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it. The uncertainty on the amount of games when we're starting and all this. What will happen in the OHL where he's currently playing, the World Juniors. All this has to come into account. But I would say, those players that are drafted in that type of level, there's always a look at them to see if they project to be in the NHL as soon as next year. Like I said, physically, his size would do that, but there is a lot more that goes into it.
Lisa asking, when it comes to player 2 and the player who went number 3, was there one sort of determining factor that led you to making the pick that the team did make?
No, we had a lot of different criteria that we based it down off of, and then you make your decision there. Every person on the staff has a voice in it. They all give their opinion. Like I said, much debate back and forth, and then ultimately you make your decision and you base it off the facts and the information that you were given.
You reading here, you've said before that NHL readiness was not necessarily a necessity. Something you stand by now, obviously, I assume?
Yeah. Like I said, we're not good in a position where we're forcing somebody into the lineup. So when they're ready, those opportunities will come. I mean, we did it this year. Toby Bjornfoot, a young player that probably wasn't projected to even be over in North America, made the team out of camp, and then ended up spending the year in the American League. So whatever the best development is a path we look at.
Having spoken with Quentin earlier here tonight with the Zoom and watching him on TV, obviously very well spoken, confident for such a young man. And the dress was a little flashy, a little bit of a, attire might have been a little out of the norm. Was that something that maybe you expected or had seen during the interview process?
Well, I think the bow tie has been noted and seen before. Even Anze Kopitar said he might have to up his dress game a little bit. He texted me that after the pick, so I know our guys are watching too. No, he's got a little character, a little charisma, which is always good.
Jack Harris asking, how important was his relationships, I'll assume that's yours, and trust in Mark Yannetti and the scouting staff during this specific process, picking as high as we did, while also factoring in remote communication, virtual meetings, et cetera?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the same level of trust as each year that I've spent with Mark. And, the process seems to get a little bit better each year in what they build on. He continually strives to get better. He really challenged himself without the live views near the end of the season, like everybody was in. To break down on video and to go over and to go deeper and deeper in the draft with the extended period of time. So he really took steps, and that trust has been there with him since I've been here.
Just kind of watching the amount of trades or lack thereof,
yeah.
Obviously uncertain times, but just from where you were sitting, just in terms of maybe what you were communicating with or not, maybe touch upon a little, maybe the lack of activity this season, if that's this evening, if that's fair to say.
Yeah, I don't think from lack of calls. I think there's a lot of placement and looking at different picks. A lot of the calls and the start of the movement happens tonight. It's amazing after the draft, the calls that are placed, because now you kind of know the players. Half of them, the first round's off the board. So whatever your list is, and if there's players left over from your first list now, teams will start trying to trade up into different spots. So there'll be a lot of communication going forward from here.
Maybe the last question on Quentin, and then we'll kind of dovetail into some other topics that are being asked. But Lee Hamilton asking you to compare him in terms of big, fast skaters, mentioning McKinnon, maybe adding bulk, and ultimately could be an Eric Lindros type.
Yeah, it was, when you look at comps, with his size, like I said, 6'4" to 6'5", whatever he ends up at, playing over 220 as it is now. So he's probably roughly a 225 to 230 range when he's fully growing. Elite speed, has high level speed and hands to match that. There's not a lot of comps when you go through the league trying to find that position that carries those, the physical attributes and the skating attributes.
A non-Kings question here, and thanks, Lisa, for asking it. But, you've seen a lot of Pat Brisson's son in and around El Segundo. Nice to see the South Bay represented there on the big board. Just your thoughts on that, and, knock on wood, he'll be in the same division for a while.
Yeah, no, it's terrific for Brendan and his family. We've, a lot of us here at the Kings have had relationships with Pat for a number of years. A lot of our boys all played together. We've watched Brendan grow up. I actually coached him for quite a few years with Nelson Emerson early on. So terrific for him, terrific for his family. I'm not sure I like him going to Vegas just down the road, but we'll deal with that when it happens.
And I know one of your former teammates, Yannick Perreault, his son, drafted by the Ducks as well, although I believe he was born after Yannick had left LA. He
did, yeah. I'm sure he takes face-offs just like his dad, too. So,
projecting ahead, 3 second-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't have the question in front of me, but I think Dennis phrased it. Dennis Bernstein, do you expect to use all 3 picks as we talk here tonight?
Well, we'll let that unfold. I know there's some players Mark has, circled in certain layers that we want to make sure we get. Now, if those players are available without having to move up to go get it, then we'll look at those scenarios. Or if those players are gone when you get to a pick, can you move back to, to acquire something else there? But like I said, we'll go in here right now. Mark has a lot of the different strategies laid out and how it could unveil. Our list so far has been pretty good with the players being taken off of it. So we'll go back and adjust now.
And I'm sorry, maybe if you did answer it earlier, but that arsenal of picks, was it tempting to try to get a little more creative or active tonight, or did it just not necessarily be part of the plan?
Yeah, but it's difficult getting the first round without having a first round later on. So, trying to move up and down. But, we look at all those different options. And like I said, the movement within the second round, I think with 3 picks, gives you ability to do both, to either get up or come back with the available picks.
As we kind of bounce around here a little, obviously the Kings and the Blackhawks made a trade over the weekend. This first time you've had a chance to publicly touch upon that.
Yeah, no, we obviously felt a need on the left side. I think with a couple of UFAs and Ben Hutton and Ryan that filled in roles there for us last year. The addition of Mikey Anderson near the end of the year, Curtis McDermott solidifying his role in the NHL, Toby Bjornfot, who I mentioned. We have the ability now to put Olli Maatta in this lineup so that the kids can be brought around at the right time. Cale Clegg needs to get some more games in the NHL. And we got a good look at him. So our right side was pretty solid with Doughty, Walker, and Roy, and re-signing Walker there. So I think Olli fills a much needed left spot that we had.
Free agency just around the corner. I'm sure I know you're not going to tip your hand, but just maybe some general thoughts heading into this unrestricted free agency, which is, unlike any other, I guess.
Well, unlike that, the qualifying offers or the players that may not be qualified, there may be more into the market depending on what happens. So I think a lot of teams are waiting to see what will unfold there over the next couple of days with those qualifying offers. For us, we have a few depth needs that we got to address through UFA, looking at kind of different areas. We have a lot of kids that we also have to look at waivers and make sure that we're not acquiring a player where it's going to push someone else to possibly be losing on waivers that we may not be ready to do or look at right now. So, like I said, that will unfold here over the next few days after we get through the draft tomorrow.
Also looking ahead, I think it was just minutes before the draft started, the league announced a goal of a 2021 start in and around New Year's. Just maybe your reaction to that news.
Yeah, I think we kind of speculated that would be possible with having the December 1st start there months ago, but kind of seeing how things had unfolded, it looked like it may be pushed back. I think our players are very well informed. The NHL and the union have been very good at letting everyone know and understand it. But at least they're starting to get dates there where guys can understand their training and say, listen, I got to be ready to show up at camp or a regular season as of January 1.
Last 2 questions, obviously a historical announcement as well with Quentin joining the team. Becoming the highest drafted minority player in the history of the league. We touched upon his character earlier. I want to say that, that selection comes with a certain amount of pressure, but, if he does feel any type of pressure along those lines, he seems to be the right type of person to be able to carry the load.
Yeah, I think his agency is very up to date on everything that can take place with that, with being a poster child for kids to follow now and to look and understand it all. So we'll work closely with them. Quentin's been very good at letting us know and his agent that the focus be on hockey. He is very adamant about that. We support that 100%. That's what's got him to this place, and he's going to continue to focus on that to be great for the Kings.
Very good. I believe we ran through the gamut of questions. If I missed any, I apologize. Finally, this one's from me. Did Luke buy dinner tonight?
Yeah, I think it's down the hall. I'm not sure he bought it yet or not, but we'll maybe hold that to him.
Please. Fair enough. Thank you, sir. And good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.